done by the Catholic Church. The Human Rights Commission of the Catholic Church worked on this in order to recover the memories of all these victims, of all these. They count 442 massacres, right? And so there are these two levels. I mean, there are two reports, not only the one of the Catholic Church, based on the same testimony. The United Nations created a commission called the Commission of Clarifying History in Guatemala. This commission was integrated by great personalities, international personalities. They work with the same testimonies, and there are two big reports, right? And so, if you want real memory, you have the reports. You know, the reports exist. So, and the report that was done by the Catholic Church. It's terrible in the sense that the guy that directed the stuff was killed at the end. He was a bishop. And there's a book by an American on this bishop, by a friend of mine, Francisco Goldman. And his book starts when this finished. But his book is a non-fiction. He's looking for the truth. It's a very good. And this book is fiction, and so this book contributes. That's what you mentioned. But by itself, this book couldn't exist without this basement, right? Without this basement of a sector of a society trying to clarify and to understand and to remember what happened. Right.
However, more people would be likely to read your novel than would read the report. So you offer that knowledge to a larger audience.
Yeah, that's true. Because people don't go so easy to the bricks.
I don't know how you could read that one. Just the bits that are in there are tough.
Yeah. Get sick.
Yeah. Other questions?
A couple of things. So, you mentioned almost as an aside, and the writers who might have been better than Garcia Marquez, his peers. Who are some of those writers who might have, the American public might be missing?
Well, for me, the best writer of that generation is Juan Carlos Onetti. Right? He's from Uruguay. And it's funny because I was reading here, I was coming and playing, I was reading Edith Grossman's last book, this one, Why Translation Matters. It was reviewed last Sunday, and I was with her at Banff, and I said to her, Garcia Marquez is not the hair of Faulkner. The hair of Faulkner is Juan Carlos Onetti.
Yeah.
But amazing, and well, and she's complaining about the publisher and about the reviewers. You say, wow, but you, I mean, you just are just branding this in the same way Latin American literature that you complain about, right? You know, it's like, and Onetti for us is, and even for Garcia Marquez, it's older than Garcia Marquez. I mean, Garcia Marquez was born 27 and Onetti was born in 1909. It was like 18 years, and he didn't do any. He was not a lucky guy, right? He never. When he wrote his best novel, he was 56, 50. No, his best novel, but by the time his great novel, and he went into this contest that is the Rómulo Gallegos that Bolaño won,
Right.
and he was defeated by a writer. His name is Mario Vargas Llosa with his first novel. And so he was so unlucky all the time, but he just laughed at that. He was a kind of great writer, you know. And that's personal. I'm not saying that he's better. I'm saying that there are Latin American readers and writers that regard that there are that enjoy more other writers than Garcia Marquez. And for me, Garcia Marquez is like reading an African writer. I mean, he's talking about a world that for me didn't exist. When I read Garcia Marquez and I was 16, 17, he was talking about the Latin America that didn't exist for me. You know, he was talking about the Latin America that was a kind of mythical. Great novels, I enjoyed them. But I was closer to other writers that were talking about the urban Latin America where I grew up, right? You know, these rural, countryside novels. So for me, that was a little bit like far away.
There are a lot of Juan Carlos Onetti books that are translated in English, including a Brief Life.
Well, he's translated. No, he's translated. It's not that people don't know him. No, he's translated, but it's just the child of Garcia Marquez is so big, he's so successful, right? That even Vargas Llosa, this poor guy is all the time doing lobbies and all this stuff and doing. And in a way, he's a great writer. And you see that it doesn't sound in America like Garcia Marquez or Carlos Fuentes. You know? And even though that Garcia Marquez doesn't come to America, why? I mean, it's when some president invites him, like Chris. That's with the president visa. He just go where a president invites him.
Get on that.
Castro, Clinton, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Well, just on a more personal note, you had mentioned your the first reader at one point was the translator, the German translator of Thomas Bernhard. I'm just curious who, in general, I mean, at what point do you, with your fiction, because as a journalist, you know, your work's going out to readers constantly, but as a fiction writer, do you finish a book and then give it to a reader? Are you working with other writers with drafts or
No.
what? No.
No one.
No. Okay.
In this case, it was a curiosity. I mean, it was like, the guys didn't know it. For me, it was like, and he didn't do anything. He just sent me a commentary. That was it, right? It was like, because for me, it was a weird stuff just to imitate a writer. To imitate it with the openly saying, you know, this is Thomas Bernhard in San Salvador, right? But no, and this is a big difference between English literature world and Latin America. We are still old-fashioned, right? I don't like editors.
No, I might share.
No, but I sign. I don't accept to be published if an editor is going to touch my text. Because for me, writing is a work of art. I'm not a kind of a factory or someone. No, I can listen everything and change everything if I listen and I agree. Right? But this world here, like, you know, this stuff, Carver and this editor and all this changing and all this stuff, for me that's it's an amazing, I cannot imagine that, right? Because it's like if you are a painter and the dealer comes and says, you know, take this yellow, I don't like this yellow, put blue. Right? It's the same, you know. I'm not writing this to sell. I don't write books to sell. You know, I write books because I need to write books. I'm not doing it for selling. If they sell the book, that's great. Right? That's a big difference.
That is the perfect sentiment to end on, in which you all should go buy those books. And thank you all for coming.